of selection of candidates in the Conservative Party, process that was absolutely out of control for the leadership of the party. But the bloc suddenly managed that. So before anything is announced anywhere officially, it is already announced on this blog, because the gossiping network works very, very efficiently. The next example is from not such a famous and well-known case, but in Bulgaria, where I come from, there's a beautiful mountain, Stranja Mountain, and there is a very, very difficult government, and lots of governments that you know they don't have the same reputation as the Denmark government, which is the least corrupt government in the world. So anyway, they wanted to build big buildings and resorts on these beautiful mountains. And what happened was various very, very weak green organizations suddenly started to oppose these moves. But you can imagine what it is to have somebody who has 100 million euros and lots of sort of shady contacts all over the country and outside the country. How 5 green campaigners can stop something like that? Well, the way was blocks with the help of police, of course, because the police in this case played a very, very creative and supportive role, because about 20 bloggers started blogging and saying, well, we have to stop this, we have to say no to the big development. And each of these blogs were read probably by 50 people. So you can imagine what a massive sort of power that was. And suddenly, one of these bloggers said, well, there is a demonstration in the center of Sofia. Everybody should go there and demonstrate. It doesn't matter that the mayor didn't allow this demonstration. And the police, as you know, police in Bulgaria and many other countries is famous for being sort of very clever and intelligent. They decided to arrest him. So they arrested him, and that was the great hit. So at the moment they arrested him, they kept him 12 hours or 24 hours. And the next day he was paraded in all television programs. He was all over all the papers. And as a result of this sort of little typical police stupidity, the buildings, at least temporarily, were stopped. And that, I think, was a joint sort of creative action. And finally, when we talk about blogs and creativity and reality, I think it's quite important to make a difference between the genre of blog and the phenomenon of blogs. So what we saw this morning by, I mean, this really fantastic journalist, Mark Medeo, I watch him every day. I read everything that he says, and he is absolutely fantastic journalist, and nobody can question the quality of FT journalism. But in the official media, blogs is used as a genre, so not to be left behind, because everybody is blogging, everybody is on Facebook, everybody is here and there. So we have to go there. And then we have to force our very serious journalists to start blogging and behaving like some teenagers who don't want to behave like that, and they're very, very unhappy, but then they might lose their jobs if they don't blog. So, but this is the fear of big media corporations, that there is a powerful genre that is coming, and that's why they sort of mimic this way of communication by asking their journalists to develop blogs. And they're very good blogs and very interesting, very well informed, and you can see on a running basis what's happening in Brussels or somewhere else from these professional journalist blogs. But the blog as a phenomenon is something quite different. it is much more likely that some of you here in this room will create some kind of revolution. I mean, hopefully not Russian Revolution or French Revolution or something like that, but something more beautiful and peaceful and less bloody. It's much more likely that some of you will produce a revolution of any kind than any blogger from BBC or FT or Guardian or Times or whatever. Because the really creative and powerful ideas are somewhere here. I mean, the big problem is that nobody knows where. I mean, it's certainly in this room, there is somebody who in the next 6 months will write something that everybody will say, wow, that's it. Or we'll get one picture somewhere, or we'll get one interview, or we'll promote some idea like, I don't know, Sarah Palin for president of the European Commission or something like that, that will have a great following and then will change the landscape of European politics. And when we think about blogs, I think in order to keep the real creativity and the real power of blogging, we should not try to be journalists. We should not try to be to copy what we see in the paper, but just be ourselves. Actually, I have to say that Mark Modell this morning said exactly that when somebody asked him, give me some advice. And he said, well, be yourself. I mean, that might sound very trivial, but that's the key. That's the key to the creativity and to the power of blogs. Because in the same way as when you write a novel, it is a well-known principle that you cannot write a bestseller if you sit to write a bestseller. I mean, this is a way to fail in writing any kind of book. But if you're true to yourself, and if you sort of have this ambition or creativity or weird ideas or aggression, then you might hit the bestseller, you might not. And and this is the difference between the blog as a genre and the blog as a phenomenon, the FT versus Adam Brickley. And finally, we're supposed to make some conclusion. How to blog creatively about politics. I would say, again, be bold. I mean, don't worry about anything. If you have some weird, absurd idea, but you feel that that's the right thing or the thing that you want to say, just say it. Invent political plots. I mean, the case with Sarah Palin was just exactly that. You invented a plot. Inventing a plot, developing a plot, is one of the most fantastic and satisfying creative activity. And to think about some sort of strange plot about what will happen with the European Union, what will happen with our national Euro MPs, where should we find them? Do we have to get them from our political parties, or should we try to promote somebody who nobody knows? I mean, do the Sarah Palin on the European election. I mean, get somebody who is, I don't know, blogger somewhere and say, well, there is a lovely guy in Poland who is looking after lots of animals and bisons, Adam Wajrak, who has a good blog. I mean, why don't you say, well, this is the right person for a Euro MP. And then you can have a massive following and do exactly that. And finally, promote the creativity of others. Blogging is not about sort of being selfish. Blogging is about stepping on the ideas and the inventions and the findings of other people, other bloggers, other journalists, or just ordinary people around. Well, thank you very much.